Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel Held Dominance. Anthony here. Please remember to like and subscribe, and also click that notification bell if you're enjoying what you've seen and want to see more. Coming up, all the round 21 matchups. All the games are viewed here. So we open up the NRL weekend with the Newcastle Knights playing host to the Brisbane Broncos at the Suncorp Stadium, Brisbane. The return of star halfback Mitchell Pearce inspired Newcastle to a crucial 28 points to 20 win over the Broncos at Suncorp Stadium on Thursday night. Playing just his 7th game of the season and his first in a month, Pearce scored a try on the stroke of half time and kicked astutely to guide the Knights into the top 8 for the time being at least. Pearce also ran 96 metres and had a try assist, but it was the 32-year-old's composure that most impressed coach Adam O'Brien. The early pressure saw the Knights come away empty after 7 sets on the Brisbane's line inside of the opening 10 minutes. And as often happens, it was the side doing all the defending who managed to come away with the points when they finally made it to the other end of the field. Impressive young fullback Tessie Newer crossed in the 13th minute to give Brisbane an unlikely lead, but it was short-lived as Jake Clifford crossed 7 minutes later and the Knights led 6 points to 4. New then turned provider as he went left and drew in Kurt Mann before sliding a nice ball out to Corey Oates for a try. Despite their lack of ball, the Broncos looked set to lead at the break before Pearce produced a trademark left foot step to beat a couple of defenders before reaching out to score the 76th try of his 304th game of his career. Knights then took charge in the second half after Lachlan Fitzgibbon scored off a Kalen Ponga-Grubber to make it 18 points to 8 before Mitch Barrett crossed in the 59th minute to make it 24 points to 8 to the Knights. 4 minutes later, Ponga hits the afterburners of Van Bradman Best, who sent a ball to Enari Tuala to touch down for the Knights' 5th try of the game. Brisbane pulled one back through second gamer Xavier Willison in the 67th minute, and Herbie Farnworth crossed 6 minutes later when hearts started to flutter in the Knights coaching box, but they clung on. Leading the way up front for Newcastle was New South Wales origin prop David Safita, 20 runs, 206 metres, and former Blue David Clemmer, 16 runs at 185 metres, while Tyson Frizzell, 14 runs at 178 minutes, produced one of his best games of the season. Knights, when had more merit than given. They had just 4 days to recover from the round 20 win over the Raiders at the same venue last Sunday. The Knights now sit on 20 competition points and will watch with interest as teams on 18 points, Titans, Sharks, Raiders and Dragons, battle it out over the weekend. O'Brien will over this weekend. O'Brien will be hoping the 9-day turnaround allows Fitzgibbon, shoulder, Best, shoulder, and Hemel Hunt, head knock, time to recover and take their place in a massive showdown against the Sharks, another of the teams locked in the battle for 7th and 8th. So our second game of the weekend is the Raiders versus St George Illawarra, as they faced off on Friday for the first game on Friday of two, to a win for the Raiders, coming off the back of not the best performance last week against the Knights. The Raiders overcome a lacklustre start and a scrappy 80 minutes to edge up past the Dragons and move, at least temporarily, to 7th in the NRL ladder. While the result is a pleasing aspect for coach Ricky Stewart, he launched an impassioned plea to the NRL to amend the 6 again dilemmas that have allowed teams to fly off the line when opposition sides are coming off their own line. Stewart says the game needs to revert to a penalty for offside because a set restart on play 1 is an insufficient penalty for teams jumping well offside in early yardage sets. The Green Machine trailed 8-0 early in the game, but levelled up late in the first half and claimed a lead they never relinquished early in the second half despite being on the wrong end almost every statistic in the opening 40 minutes. The reliable kicking performances from Sam Williams, with an individual piece of brilliance from Tom Starling, Jack Whiten and Harley Smith-Shields, created 3 tries in an otherwise unconvincing outing for Ricky Stewart's men. Stewart was happy that a few players, including Williams, stood up in the key moments. The win moved the Raiders into the top 8, although they could have yet finished around in 9th if the Titans and the Sharks both win. The Dragons are still just outside the 8 as they sit in 11th with a tough run home and a huge uphill battle to make the finals from here. They also had to deal with the loss of centre Cody Ramsey less than a minute into the game after an accidental head clash with teammate Andrew McCulloch left him with a bloody mouth and ruled him out for the game after failing a HIA. Josh Papali'i's error on his own 30 handed the Dragons the first attacking chance of the game, which they took via Corey Norman's perfect cut-off pass to Matt Virgia. Another Raiders error and a high contact penalty left Jordan Rapana on report, adding Zach Lomax an easy shot to make it an 8-0 lead in the 17th minute. Biagi eventually returned the favour to Canberra with an error coming out of yardage and a stunning back by Harley Smith-Shields off an Elliott Whitehead grubber handed Rapana an easy finish. The Dragons quickly pulled away as halfback Adam Clune made a clean break for their supporting Tariq Sims to touchdown, but Lomax missed the tough conversion that soon afterwards was outjumped by Jack Whiten to an attacking Sam Williams bomb for the Raiders to level it up at 12-12 shortly before the break. The Raiders did well to even up given they finished the half with twice as many errors and missed tackles and less possession, and on the wrong side of a 4-0 line break count. An early Figia error put the Raiders on an early attack in the second stanza, with Tom Starling sneaking a try from dummy half to put his side up for the first time in a match. Both sides struggled to do anything with their attack chances until the Raiders eventually opted to put their lead beyond the converted try when Lomax came up with a high tackle straight after a Sam Williams 40-20. Papali'i was denied a try after clearing up the scraps from another Williams bomb, with Whiten getting the fingertip knockback deemed as a knock-on in the contest, but it mattered little as the Raiders held on for the win. Sims, Jack DeBelling, Lomax, Rapana and Emery Gula were all placed on report for dangerous or high tackle. Parramatta's title hopes are hanging on a knife edge, with fears Reid Mahoney's season could be over after suffering a shoulder injury late in the 40-12 loss to the Rabbitohs on Friday night. Mahoney was reduced to tears on the sideline as he made a gut-wrenching walk around the empty Super Stadium for a tackle attempt on Latrell Mitchell left him clutching his left shoulder with 4 minutes left on the clock. It was the same joint he dislocated in round 13 against the Knights, which put him out for 4 weeks. It compounded a difficult night for the Eels, who slumped to 3 consecutive losses, the worst run since 2019, as Rabbitohs ran in 6 tries to 2. It also was a night that Adam Reynolds surpassed the club legends Eric Sims' 46 years point scoring record in style. It was Corey Walker and Latrell Mitchell who produced the plays to get their halfback within striking range to pile on the points. Reynolds slotted over a 45th minute conversion to reach 1,842 points, surpassing Sims' 1,801, as the Rabbitohs cruised to a 32 points to nil lead through the midway through the second half, to leave Arthur with more questions than answers for the Eels. On the plus side, Mitchell Moses got through a back injury unscathed, but he couldn't help his side's recent attacking woes despite an individual piece of brilliance late for Wacker Blake to cross the line. After a 28-0 loss to the Roosters last week, Parramatta went another 56 minutes before going over the line through Mika Sivo. However, the damage had already been done, with the Eels struggling to contain the red-hot Mitchell and Walker, who for the most part were in cruise control. A double from Josh Mansour in the first half started proceedings before Dane Gagai and Jackson Polo, as well as Cameron Murray, crossed over within 8 minutes of half-time for a lead of 32 points to 0. Paulo scored again in the shadows of full-time. Arthur has further concerns on top of the Mahoney injury, with Oregon Kafusi copping a head knock in the first tackle of the game. Isaiah Papali'i was also placed on report for a dangerous contact on Paulo after he led with his knees in the tackle. That's going to be bad. There's a zero tolerance for the head like that. Despite the evening not going against them in the most areas, Arthur believes they could keep their top 4 aspirations alive during the next month amid a difficult run home. He said, "The last couple of games we haven't been good enough, but we can't panic. We've got a lot of work early to get ourselves in a reasonable position. We need to be able to move on from it." So this was the first game of 3 that were played on the 7th of August in the NRL, with the first game being at the Cbus Super Stadium, and then 2 at the Suncorp Stadium in Brisbane. So with this game, it's New Zealand Warriors versus Cronulla Sharks, and New Zealand Warriors came out 18 points to 16 winners. But Warriors coach Nathan Brown was left frustrated with some of his players, namely the twice sin-bin Kane Evans, for taking the bait from Sharks antagonist Will Chambers. But despite being reduced to 12 men on 3 occasions, with Chanel Harris Tavita binned for the last play of the game due to a professional foul, the Warriors came from behind to win 18 points to 16. They started strongly as props adding for Noah Blake and Matt Lodge dominated the middle, but the game changed when Evans was marched for throwing 2 punches at Chambers. Evans took exception to being slammed in the tackle involving Chambers, and after a verbal joust in the 35th minute, he let 2 hard left hands fly at his rival, though he clearly didn't connect. Yeah, he just missed the jaw on one, and one was just miles away. Cronulla took advantage of the extra men with Britton Nikari and Will Kennedy giving this scoring to give their team 16 points to 6 break lead at the break. A week after being hooked for losing his cool during a slangy match with Manly's Dylan Walker, Chambers was again incessantly niggled. Commentators reported hearing the veteran's barbs reverberating around the crowdless stadium, and he channeled James Maloney by tossing a stray boot into the grandstand. Evans was given a second lot of marching orders in the 64th minute after being pulled up for a head slam on Chambers. In a spiteful match, 3 Warriors were also placed on report alongside Evans, Josh Curran, Harris Tavita, and Dalen Watane-Zelezniak, as well as a Sharks second rower Nikora. So, Warriors winger Dalen Watane-Zelezniak stood up Ronaldo Mulitalo with some slick footwork to open the scoring in the 3rd minute after a lovely long ball from halfback Sean O'Sullivan. Eventually, halfback Kennedy helped to get the Sharks on the board in the 29th minute, dummying and zipping clear to finding Connor Tracy in support to score after a 60-metre movement. With Evans off the field, Cronulla went ahead when Nikora picked up Reece Walsh and bulldozed the fullback from close range. He ran over him. He literally just ran over him. Oof. Kennedy combined with Mulitalo, who broke clear down the touchline before passing back inside for his teammate to secure a brilliant long-range try in the shadows of half-time. However, Warriors halted the momentum in the second half with Walsh crossing after a smart offload from Curran. And Aitken, playing in his second match as a second rower, continued his hot form as he tore away to level the scores. Defying the numerical disadvantage with Evans banished, the New Zealand club poked their noses in front, with Walsh kicking a penalty goal after Nikora was pinged for a crusher on Curran. It took a while for the ref to actually see that crusher. It was kind of obvious when you saw it because of the angles that the two players were coming down. Maybe Curran hid, Nikora hid the positioning, unfortunately, of Curran in the actual tackle. I don't know. The Sharks curiously turned down an opportunity to square up the game with a penalty goal in the 74th minute. That backfired when Tracy kicked early in the tackle count and turned the possession over. Warriors 5'8", Harris Tavita was sin-binned for deliberately slowing down the play at the death, allowing Cronulla one final play. But a 2-point field goal attempt from Braden Trindle went awry, hurting the Sharks' final hopes and keeping the Warriors alive in the finals chase. Matt Burton helped ease the pressure for Penrith to rush back halfback star Nathan Cleary from injury after sparking the Panthers to a gritty 20-14 triumph over Sydney City Roosters to keep their minor premierships alive. Burton scored 2 tries, made 3 line breaks and 7 tackle breaks, and ran a game-high 211 metres with the ball as Penrith bounced back from their last weekend's 37 points to 10 loss to Melbourne. So it was a good idea to have him not at all go to the Bulldogs early for his transfer next year, as that was what's going to happen for Burton. But the Panthers decided to change their mind and got lucky with Nathan Cleary's injury. So, Burton gave the Panthers a 6-minute lead as he ran 80 metres to score after receiving a long pass from star second rower Villalame Kikau and stepped around James Tedesco. and this was converted to make it 6-0. Roosters lock Victor Radley helped to level the scores to 6-all soon after when he crashed over close to the Penrith line, and Adam Kieran converted. It was right under the sticks and he went in untouched. However, ill discipline with the ball by individual players cost the Roosters dearly. Burton kicked 2 penalty goals and sent Paul Momoriovski scored in the first half after Kiwi prop Jared Wahera-Hargreaves was sent to the sin bin following 3 consecutive ruck infringements by the Roosters. The ref called 6 again, and he laid on for about 30 to 40 seconds. So, Wahera-Hargreaves only played 12 minutes in total for the Roosters because of that sin bin. Roosters forward Angus Crichton and Nick Nat Butcher were placed on report. To the Roosters' credit, they refused to lie down when Burton's second try made the margin 14, with Joey Manu scoring in the corner in the 58th minute after Sam Walker and Tedesco combined to create space from a scrum win, and a big shot by Radley led to another try by winger David Tapua. Daniel Tapua even, sorry. But the Panthers steadied and hung on for a crucial win. So Ivan Cleary said it was important for us to win tonight, and I thought it was built on effort, communication and great work and intensity. There were plenty of things that we need to improve, but we are just in a phase at the moment where we have to bunker down and with hard work. Hopefully we can build in next 4 weeks to hit the finals in some decent form. That will be the plan, and today was an important start on that. And that ended the scores at 14 points to 20. Panthers. So, in this game, Melbourne overcame their stiffest test in several months against one of their oldest foes in Manly to come away with a 28 points to 18 winners at Suncorp Stadium on Saturday and put their noses out in front on the NRL competition table. The first points in the game came via the Storm in the 8th minute off the back of 2 Manly errors. Firstly, Tom Trbojevic was stripped to the ball close to his own line in a one-on-one tackle from his New South Wales teammate Josh Adokar. Then wayward Lachlan Croker pass gave Melbourne the scrum feed, and from that set, Kenny Bromwich slid in to the left corner off a greasy Suncorp Stadium pitch. And Nico Hines' penalty for poor goal line dropout by Corey Daly Jerry Evans. It was poor, it didn't even go 5 metres. And 8-0 was a comfortable enough lead. Manly spent most of the first half defending, with the Storm enjoying 62% of possession. They seemed fatigued and in the shadow of a half-time, but again, against the run of play, Jason Saab intercepted a Hines pass meant for Adokar and raced 90 metres untouched. A Rubik Garrick penalty, as the hooter sounded, meant it was locked up at 8-all at the break, after Garrick had actually converted the Saab try. One interesting bystander was seen on the sidelines in Penrith coach Ivan Cleary, whose Penrith side had enjoyed a win over the Roosters in the previous game. Come to, as you've seen. He was just having a look at the 2 clubs his Panther sides are likely to face at some stage in the finals. Manly took the lead early in the second half through Garrick converting his own 43rd minute try, but the Sea Eagles' joy was short-lived as Justin Olam scored his 10th try of the season, and the scores were locked up again at 14-all. Tit for tat tries through Olam and Garrick again and it was only a misconversion that separated them. Storm being the ones that converted to make it 20 points to 18. But a Jerome Hughes burst upfield and a Garrick error gave Munster an opportunistic try, and the Storm was settling in for their 17th win in succession. I do have to say that with that try by for Munster, there was 2 hands in the back of the Manly Sea Eagles defence, which have been seen as penalties in other parts of the field. So it was close to the line, and it was the Melbourne Storm that gave them their win. So going off the back of that, it was one hell of an effort from this group to win 17 in a row in this competition. It's pretty remarkable, Craig Bellamy said, reminding everyone his side was down on troops with Nelson Asafo-Solomona and Tui Kamichi and Felisa Kafusi, as well as George Jennings, all missing. So he said also that Ryan Pappenhausen twisted his left knee in the tackle, but he expects him to be fit for the Raiders game next week. Bellamy also didn't believe that a 2021 Premiership race was down to 3 horses between the Storm, Panthers and the Rabbitohs, by saying there are still 5 or 6 teams in it at the moment and could probably win the competition. So next we go on to the first of 2 games played at Cbus Super Stadium on Sunday the 8th of August, as the Canterbury Bulldogs played host to the West Tigers in a game that ended 16 points to 28 and very, very scrappy, which Michael Maguire of West Tigers didn't have any problems with, as he came there for the 2 points, he said. Luciano Leilua was the first person to create a brilliant bit of brilliance. He overcame an error in the opening set to crash over from a Jacob Liddell offload just 4 minutes into the match, but he went on to finish with 10 tackle busts and 4 offloads. Some individual brilliance from Nick Meaney levelled the scores on the 10th minute mark as he dashed from dummy half, beating 3 of the Tigers' starting middles before passing to a supporting Jake Alvarello, who then backed up again to finish the try. The Tigers came up with 2 poor errors inside their own end, but the Bulldogs' lacklustre attack wasn't able to take advantage, and instead of a lovely Moses Mbaye long ball to the hard-running Ken Mulamalo, that created the next point scoring. Mulamalo made it a 7-minute double when he soared above Corey Allen to latch onto a Luke Brooks crossfield bomb in the 30th minute. Dogs had the final say of the half with a great angled run from Corey Waddell, getting them back within 6 at the break. Uehi's boot added 2 points soon after the resumptions of the when Bailey Biondeodo was pinged for an escort, and that same boot created more points with a pinpoint bomb from Tommy Teloa to score. After a sequence of repeat sets on the Tigers line, a lovely catch and pass from Will Hapoate got Corey Allen over in the corner to get his side back within 10 points with 15 minutes to play for the Bulldogs. That was as close as they got, with the final points of the contest coming from the boot again of Duei, as he added another penalty goal for Hetherington's late infringement to seal the result, 28 points to 16. just on a little bit of a side note, Will Hopoate has confirmed that he will be joining St Helens for the 2022 season, and that comes off the back of Kevin Nyagama leaving for Masters back in Australia, and also Lachlan Coote going to Hull KR. And our last game of the round 21 was hosted at the Cbus Super Stadium, Gold Coast, as the Titans faced the North Queensland Cowboys. And after turgid 15 minutes or so into the first half, and a lot of penalties, 6 I think it was, yes, 6, and several pregnant pauses, but a stop-start opening to the game. Gold Coast opened the scoring with Brian Kelly pounced on a grubber kick by Taylor, who has been in scintillating form since coming into the side. The 4 points all count the same, but Kelly's could well have earned an extra degree of difficulty because he dislocated a finger and face planted into the turf in the process. Yeah, I saw the face plant. I thought he was concussed afterwards. It was that much of a heavy blow. AJ Brimson on the 23rd minute try came in a similar slapstick to North Queensland Cowboys knock-ons while defending, eventually leaving the Titans number 1 with nothing but clear air between him and the try line. When Brimson got on Tomolono's outside to send David Fafita at and then over Jake Granville, the Gold Coast led 14 points to 0 through Tom Dearden's runaway try from a ricochet grubber, trimming the advantage to 10 at the break for the Cowboys. Both Furman had some fun upon the resumption, first with an audacious no-look flick pass to kick for Kelly's second, and then getting himself on the score sheet as well from a Sexton grubber. Valentine Holmes did likewise when Carl Feltz broke away down the right hand touchline before kicking the ball back infield, but with an hour gone, the game was already at the same stage. Corey Thompson made doubly sure with a double take off his own boot after a Taylor's long ball put him into space. The pint-sized winger chipped the Staden over Valentine Holmes from the sodden Gold Coast turf. It literally means chipped. First he hacked on, it was still bobbling on the floor, and he chipped it over Valentine Holmes, like lobbing a keeper a turf in football, soccer, whatever you want to call it. This time it was Taylor trailing through for a well-deserved try, giving Holbrook yet more cause for consideration with his creative tights, before Felt and Herbert finished off with a few more points for the road. And that's it for another video, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember, like, subscribe and share this video worldwide. Here is my just for fun. Please remember to place the comments for your answers and any feedback that you want to give me in the comments below. I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you guys have, or even a debate on how Rugby League is going this year. But anyway, I want to say thank you for watching. Please remember to stay safe, all the best, and I'll catch you in the next video.